Welcome, deep divers. Today, we're jumping into something really fascinating. It's about getting fluent in a language, like super fast, but maybe not how you'd expect.
Right.
We're kind of setting aside the usual textbooks, the grammar drills, all that stuff.
Yeah, the hard grind.
Exactly. We're looking at this source, Effortless English, 12 Paths to Rapid Fluency, which talks about, get this, 12 lazy methods that get you fluent insanely fast.
Lazy. I like the sound of that already.
Me too. So our mission here is to figure out how these supposedly effortless ways actually work. Are they just tricks, or do they really tap into how our brains naturally soak things up?
It's a really interesting angle, isn't it? Because we're usually told learning, especially a language, takes, loads of hard work and deliberate effort.
Right. Sweat and tears.
Pretty much. But these methods, they suggest something more intuitive, almost like learning can just sort of happen if you set things up right.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's dive right into the first lazy method. It sounds, well, almost too simple.
Weigh in on me.
Method number 1. Watch with subtitles, but not in your language. So the idea is you watch English TV shows, maybe YouTube videos, whatever. But, and this is the key, you use English subtitles.
Ah, okay. Not your native language subtitle.
Exactly. No translation allowed.
Right. And that simple switch is actually really powerful. It's basically feeding your brain what we call comprehensible input.
Comprehensible input.
Okay. Yeah. So you're getting language you can mostly understand because the subtitles give you those visual clues. Your brain is just naturally kind of automatically matching the sounds you hear with the words you see.
So it's connecting sound to spelling.
And meaning all at once, without you having to consciously go, okay, what does that word mean? It sort of bypasses that whole frustrating translation step.
It sounds less like studying and more like absorbing, like osmosis or something.
That's a great way to put it. Osmotic absorption. You're letting your brain's pattern matching skills do the heavy lifting instead of forcing memorization.
And they have this bonus tip, which I thought was pretty smart. Rewatch the same episode 3 times.
How interesting. How?
First time, English subtitles on. Second time, subtitles off, really test your ears.
Okay, makes sense.
And the third time, try shadowing, speaking along with the actors.
Ah, shadowing. Yes, that's incredibly effective. That repetition, especially mimicking the actors, builds almost like muscle memory for your mouth.
Muscle memory for your mouth. I like that.
Yeah, you're not just hearing it, you're doing it. You start to internalize the rhythm, the intonation, the prosody, we call it, how the language flows. And you do it without even thinking too hard about it.
Okay, that really clicks. All right, method 2. Use English while doing chores. This one honestly made me chuckle. You just talk to yourself in English while you're doing housework or walking the dog.
Right, like narrating your life.
Yeah, simple stuff. I'm cutting vegetables now. Look at boiling water. The dog looks bored. That kind of thing.
It sounds maybe a bit silly, but the power there is in the consistency and how little effort it takes. It's what we might call incidental learning.
Incidental.
Okay. Language learning isn't the main goal, right? You're just cooking or cleaning, but you're activating English in real time, linking words to actions, to objects around you. It weaves English into your day without feeling like a chore itself.
So just keeping that English part of your brain switched on, even for mundane things.
Exactly. And that constant low-stakes practice adds up incredibly fast. You're basically turning your inner monologue partly into English. Plus, feeling silly actually helps sometimes.
How so?
It lowers what's called the affective filter. That's the self-consciousness, the fear of making mistakes that often blocks us when we try to speak. If you're just talking to your dog, who cares if you mess up, right?
True. Okay, good point. Method number 3. Change your phone and apps to English. This feels very practical. The source mentions the average person checks their phone like 100 times a day.
It's a huge number, and every single one of those glances becomes a tiny English lesson.
How does that work exactly?
Well, think about it. Every time you open Instagram or check Google Maps or even browse Netflix, you're seeing and interacting with English words and phrases in a real context, too.
So it's like constant, tiny exposures.
Exactly. It's creating this ubiquitous immersion. English becomes part of your digital environment. The learning is almost invisible because it's just tied to things you're already doing constantly.
Turning your phone into a pocket tutor you don't even notice.
Pretty much. Zero extra effort required for that one.
Okay, method 4 is interesting. It's about copying, not conjugating verbs. Repeat funny lines from movies.
Oh, I like this one.
Yeah, instead of stressing about grammar, you pick a line you like, maybe a funny one, and just say it over and over, like 5 to 10 times, trying to match the original emotion. They give the classic example, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Mimicking, I'm going to make him an offer. Yeah, that's brilliant because it goes straight for the music of the language. The prosody again. Yeah, the rhythm, the stress patterns, the intonation. Native speakers talk in these sort of natural chunks, right? With feeling. Repeating movie lines helps you download those chunks whole.
Instead of just individual words.
Exactly. You bypass that analytical part of your brain that gets hung up on rules, and you just absorb the flow, the sound, the feeling. It sticks better, too, especially if it's funny or emotional.
So you're learning the melody, not just the notes. Makes sense. Okay, method 5 sounds like peak laziness. Fall asleep to English.
Right. Sounds almost too easy.
The idea is you play English podcasts or audiobooks, maybe YouTube, just quietly as you're drifting off to sleep. Is that like a 30-minute timer, maybe?
Now, people might think, come on, you can't learn in your sleep. And, well, you're not actively learning vocabulary. That's true.
So what's happening then?
Even if you're not consciously listening, your brain is still kind of subtly processing the sounds, the rhythm, the pronunciation patterns, the phonetics of English.
Just like getting your ear used to it.
Exactly. It's passive acclimatization. Your brain is mapping the sound frequencies while you're resting. It makes the language sound less foreign when you hear it while you're awake. It sort of primes your auditory system.
Okay, so not magic, but still useful for tuning your ear. I get it. Method 6. Use voice messages instead of writing.
Practical speaking practice.
Yeah. Instead of typing out texts or emails, record short voice notes. Maybe to friends who speak English, or even just record them for yourself. The point is to practice speaking without stressing over perfect spelling or grammar.
This one's great because it directly tackles that fear of speaking, which is often the biggest hurdle to fluency, right?
Definitely.
You're actually using the muscles, retrieving words on the fly, forming sentences in real time.
Right.
And they mention sending them to ChatGPT or a language partner for feedback.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic addition.
Yeah, low-pressure feedback.
Totally. No judgment, just helpful correction.
Hear that?
It feels more like chatting than doing homework. It lowers that affective filter again, making it easier to just talk.
Okay, next. Method 7. The 5-minute daily talk game.
A game, nice.
Yeah. Each day, you pick a simple topic. Could be what you had for breakfast, the weather, maybe a dream vacation, anything.
And you just talk about it out loud in English for 5 minutes straight. No stopping, no notes.
Okay. That little bit of structure, even though it's lazy, is super valuable. It forces you to think on your feet.
Right, spontaneous speaking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to retrieve words, string sentences together, keep going, even if it's not perfect. It builds confidence in just producing language uninterrupted. It's a mini workout for fluency.
5 minutes doesn't sound like much, but daily.
It can compound incredibly fast. Consistency is key.
Makes sense. Okay, another passive one, method 8. Listen to slow English while doing something else.
Like the chores one, but just listening.
Yeah. Put on a podcast specifically in slow English or maybe an ESL YouTube channel. Play it while you're cooking, commuting, working out, whatever. And the crucial part, you don't have to understand everything. Just let it play.
This is classic passive auditory training again. It's not about deep comprehension. So what's the benefit then?
It gets your brain accustomed to the cadence, the common phrases, the sounds of English, but at a speed that's easier to process initially. It tunes your ear without demanding intense focus. It kind of builds a foundation, so when you do listen actively or hear faster speech, it's less overwhelming.
So your brain's doing a sort of background scan, getting familiar.
That's a good way to think about it. Perpetual, low-effort exposure.
All right, method 9 might be a game changer for a lot of people. Use ChatGPT as your lazy speaking buddy.
The AI tutor.
You literally just talk to it. Correct my English, or let's practice small talk. The example given is great. You might say, I want to say you was right. And GPT replies, great try. Say, I want to say you were right. Gentle correction.
The real magic here is the accessibility and the complete lack of judgment, isn't it?
Totally.
You've got this practice partner available 24/7 who's infinitely patient, gives instant feedback, and doesn't care if you make mistakes. That is huge for overcoming speaking anxiety.
Takes away the fear of looking stupid.
Precisely. It massively lowers that affective filter. You can experiment and refine your English in a totally safe space. It's like having a tireless tutor for your interlanguage, that evolving system you build as you learn.
Interlanguage, interesting term. Okay, method 10 is quite modern. Screenshot words you like. Don't write them.
Oh, ditch the notebook.
Apparently. Instead of writing down words, just screenshot cool phrases you see on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever.
And then what?
Later, you just scroll through your photo gallery, through the screenshots, look at the words, try to remember them, maybe use them. The source says, no studying, just scrolling with purpose.
I can see how that works. It leverages habits you already have scrolling. And the visual context of the screenshot probably helps memory way more than just a word on a list.
Yeah, you see it how you found it.
Right, in its natural habitat. Plus, scrolling through later acts like a kind of spaced repetition, reinforcing it without feeling like work. It's like flashcards, but zero effort to create them.
Turning passive scrolling into low-key learning. Clever.
Oh, very clever.
Method 11, inject some fun. Follow meme pages in English.
Memes, yes.
The idea is that laughter is fluency's best friend. Memes use real, current, everyday language, slang, sarcasm, idioms, stuff you don't always get in lessons.
Absolutely. From a language acquisition perspective, this is brilliant. Memes are authentic material, they're culturally relevant, they're engaging.
You actually want to understand the joke.
Exactly. That curiosity drives you to figure out the slang or the cultural reference. And because it's funny, it creates an emotional connection, making the language much more memorable. You're absorbing culture and language simultaneously.
Learning without realizing you're learning.
The best kind of learning.
Okay, last one. Method 12. Create a fake life in English. This sounds creative.
A fake life. Tell me more.
You basically invent a little story about yourself in English. Maybe you're an astronaut in this story, or a millionaire, or a famous chef.
Okay.
And each day, you just add a sentence or two to this ongoing fantasy. Like, today, I flew to Italy to cook for a wedding. It was stressful, but fun.
Ah, I see. That taps into the power of narrative. Our brains are wired for stories.
How does that help fluency?
When you're invested in a story, even a made-up one, the information sticks so much better. You're not just learning random sentences. You're building context, meaning an emotional connection around the language. It becomes a personal experience.
So it's more memorable because it's your story.
Exactly. It turns practice into a creative act, leveraging your imagination. It makes English feel alive and personal, which boosts retention and encourages you to actually produce language creatively.
Wow, okay. So we've gone through all 12. From subtitles and chores to memes and fake lives.
Quite a range.
What's the common thread here? It really seems like the big idea is weaving English into your life in ways that don't feel like hard work. Ways that are maybe even, dare I say, fun.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
A core message running through all of these is that fluency doesn't have to be this uphill battle against grammar tables. It can come from consistent, low-effort, enjoyable engagement. It's about working with your brain's natural tendencies to absorb patterns and connect ideas rather than fighting against them with sheer willpower.
Less grind, more flow.
Precisely. Leveraging existing habits, digital tools, even just your imagination.
So here's something to think about, a final thought for you, our listeners. These principles of lazy learning, this effortless absorption through consistent low-stakes exposure, how could you apply that elsewhere?
Interesting question.
Yeah, could you learn, say, a musical instrument or pick up a new hobby, maybe even tackle a big project at work by finding ways to integrate small, enjoyable, consistent bits of it into your daily routine? Something to chew on.
Definitely something to consider. It's a powerful idea.
Until next time, keep diving deep.